No one prepares you for this part of healing. You finally walk away. You stop chasing. You choose your own worth over their potential. And instead of the relief you were promised, you feel worse. You feel heavier, quieter, almost hollow. And that's when the thought starts to creep in. Did I make a mistake? You ask yourself. If you don't understand the biology of this moment, your mind will try to convince you to undo everything you just did. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of withdrawal. By the end of this video, you will understand why something the psychologists call the healing dip is the most dangerous yet a necessary part of your recovery journey. There is a silence that follows the storm that no one prepares you for. It isn't the breakup that breaks you. It's the stillness that follows. The nights feel longer. Your phone feels like dead weight in your hand. You notice with terrifying clarity how much of your mental energy is being drained by this person. And slowly, you start to miss the chaos. Not because it was good, but because it was loud. Your brain is actually reacting to the end of intermittent reinforcement. What is that, you may ask? Well, in unhealthy relationships, the good times are unpredictable, which makes them quite as addictive as a slot machine. When the machine stops, you don't feel free. You feel like you're starving. You feel like a sailor who has been at sea for so long that the solid ground feels like it's moving beneath your feet. When you spend enough time in emotional chaos, your body adapts to the high-stakes environment. Your nervous system becomes a survival specialist. It learns how to read the slightest shifts in tone of a text message. It learns how to anticipate the distance before it happens. You've been living on a cocktail of cortisol from the stress and dopamine from the kisses and makeups. So when the chaos stops, your system doesn't relax. It panics. It searches for something to react to. It looks for a crisis to solve because it doesn't know how to exist without one. This is where most people misunderstand their own hearts. They think missing someone means they belong together. They think the discomfort is regret. But usually, it's just your body lagging behind the decision your mind already made. You aren't craving the person. You're craving the chemical pattern. Most people confuse loneliness with emptiness. Loneliness is a desire for connection. Emptiness is a desire for stimulation. You aren't necessarily lonely for them. You're adjusting to the absence of the emotional noise they provided. The checking, the guessing, the dopamine spikes of their sudden return. Many people return to unhealthy situations not because they found the one, but because they couldn't handle the zero. They go back because the silence felt like a void they didn't know how to fill. But what's missing isn't love. It's the adrenaline of the struggle. Loneliness is solved by connection. Emptiness in this phase is solved by regulation. Healing doesn't start with happiness. It starts with a flat line. It feels like emotional flatness. Long stretches when nothing feels exciting, but nothing feels terrifying. This is the recalibration phase, and it often triggers what psychologists call an extinction burst. You see, right before a habit or an addiction dies, the brain creates an intense final surge of longing to pull you back. This is where most people turn back to the fire. because no one told them the truth. Peace feels like boredom before it feels like safety. Chaos excites you. Safety teaches you. Your system is learning a new baseline, one that doesn't require tension to feel alive, one that doesn't need uncertainty to feel connected. This stage isn't pleasant. It's clinical. It's quiet. But it's the only place where a secure and mature love can eventually take root. When the chaos leaves, it creates a space for a new identity. You are no longer the one waiting, no longer the one proving, no longer the one hoping against the evidence. And quietly, you have to ask, who am I if I'm not the one in a struggle? That question is the beginning of you taking back control. Healing isn't about finding someone better. It's about becoming a person who can no longer be bought with the currency of chaos. Stay with the quietness a little longer. Let your body learn that nothing bad happens when there is nothing to chase. On the other side of this stillness is a kind of love that doesn't hurt to hold. You're not late. You're right on time.